Okay, this is section 2 called Solving Quadratics, and they're asking us to find the zeros of the following using a graph or a table. So I'm going to look at number 16, guys. And so I have x squared minus 4x minus 12 equals 0. Okay, so they specifically asked us to use a graphing calculator to solve this. So what I'm going to do is turn my calculator on, and I'm going to go to the y equals button. And now I'm going to plug in this equation right here on the left into y1. So I have x squared minus 4x minus 12. Make sure you put minus and not the negative sign. Be very careful. This is your minus sign, this is your negative sign. They're all minus. And then for y2, I'm going to plug in the right side of the equation. I'm going to plug in 0. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit my graph button right here on the top right, and it should graph it. Now I'm going to zoom. If you ever want to go back to your, my calculator has a little wonky window right now. If you ever want to go back to your main screen, hit the zoom button right here and go to zoom standard. That'll always go back to your normal screen. That's a little bit better picture. So I have my quadratic, right? And I want to find the x-intercepts. Remember, x-intercepts, solutions, roots, or zeros. They all mean the same thing. These four terms are finding out where does my quadratic function cross the x-axis. Now, some of you guys might be deceived by your calculator. You're going to look, you're going to hit your trace button, you're just going to count the lines. But be careful, sometimes you might not be a pretty nice number. So the best way to do this is you're going to hit the second button right here, this blue button, second trace. And I'm going to go to where it intersects. Now, the calculator is going to ask you for the first curve. You can plug in as many equations as you can into this calculator. I could have plugged in 4 or 5 equations. The calculator is asking specifically which two curves am I comparing to see where they intersect. So I have my little spider right here moving. I'm just kind of moving back and forth, left and right. It's saying first curve. I'm going to hit enter because it's on the parabola, and I just want to make sure it's on the parabola that I find my spider. Hit enter. Now what the calculator is going to do, it's going to mark it and say this is the first curve. Now it's going to say second curve, so it can be either a curve or line, doesn't matter. If you move your spider left and right, you should see that your spider is now moving on your x-axis. It does not matter where you press enter, as long as you identify that it's this curve and this curve that we're comparing to. So I'm going to hit enter. And now it says guess. This is the big important part. So what I want you to do is you have two roots. You have this guy right here and this guy right here. So you need to go as close as you can to one of your solutions. Put your spider right on top of that root. And then hit enter. Your calculator is going to give you your first answer. The first answer is -2, 0. That's my first solution. It crosses the x-axis at x equals -2. Now I'm going to repeat the same steps for the second guy, this root here, because we have two real solutions. So second trace, intersect. And then first curve is on my parabola. Second curve is on my line, which is good. Just move it a little bit closer. Hit enter, and now I'm going to guess. So I'm going to move all the way to my second root. Hit enter, and there it is, 6, 0. That is my second answer, my second root. So my solutions are -2 and 6. Let's go to number 17. I'll try one more. So I have 3x squared minus x equals 0. Same thing. I'm going to go back to y equals. Replace my first equation with 3x squared minus x. Hit graph. There's my graph. And so I want to zoom in just a little bit. So I'm going to hit zoom and then zoom in so I can see it a little bit better. There it is. It looks like 0, 0, but I'm not really sure. Let me zoom in just a little bit more because it looks a little funky. Oh, look at that. See? I tell you, your calculator can deceive you. Be careful. There are two real solutions. So what I'm going to do is do the same thing. Second trace, intersect. There's my spider. See how it's on my parabola? Hit enter. Here's my second curve. It's on the line. Hit enter. And I'm going to find where it crosses the x-axis. It looks like 0, 0, but let's just double check. Yep, intersection point is 0, 0. So this guy is 0, 0. Let's find the second one. Second trace. Intersect. First curve is on the parabola. We're still good. Second curve is on the line. We're still good. Now I'm going to scroll my little spider all the way to this intersection point, as close as I can get it to. Hit enter. And now we have 0.330, which you guys know 0.33 is the same thing as 1/3, 0. So my solutions, or my roots, are going to be 0 and 1/3. Those are my answers.